we need to have a very uncomfortable conversation about the future of gaming as a hobby. Sony's old slogan was always for the players, but looking at the news today, it feels a lot more like for the rich players. As of right now, gaming, in my opinion, is officially moving from an accessible hobby for everyone into a more luxury hobby. Sony just dropped a massive announcement. They are raising the price of the PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 5 Pro, and I guess most importantly to everyone who watches this channel, the PlayStation Portal. The window to get this stuff at normal price is slamming shut in just a few days. But this isn't just about Sony being greedy. This is about the perfect storm of this AI obsession, AI bubble let's call it, bad economics and geopolitical stupidity that is killing the idea of cheap gaming. Make sure you stick around because today I'm going to break down these wild new prices, why this might just have handed Xbox a massive win for a change, and the one strategy you need to use to beat these price hikes. Let's look at these insane new prices. First of all, Sony just dropped on us. This isn't just a small bump, it's a total overhaul of what we thought consoles should cost. When these price hikes hit on April the 2nd, yep, you heard that right, the PlayStation Portal, the device we talk about all the time here, is jumping from £199 up to $220 in the UK. Did I say 199? Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I thought I said 119 there. Anyways, even in the US, it's even crazier. It's a $50 hike, taking it from $199 to $250. And the consoles, they are a total joke. A standard PS5 is jumping a full $100 in the US to $650 or £570 in the UK. The PS5 Pro, that's going to a staggering $899.99, so $900 in the US or £790 in the UK. Think about that. We are looking at nearly £1,000 for a mid-gen upgrade on a console that's been out for years. The PS5 came out in 2020. This is nearly 6-year-old hardware for the standard PS5. I know it had its like slim refresh, but still basically the same power. And every other generation, think back to your PS2, PS3, PS4, the longer a console was out, the cheaper it got. They would find ways to make the parts smaller and cheaper, and they would pass those savings on to you, the gamer. Instead, we are going backwards. You are paying more money for a 6-year-old box today than you would have on launch day back in 2020. I luckily enough bought all my consoles at launch, which usually is the expensive way to do it, but thankfully for me, it's actually saving me money. Who would have thought that would be the case? So just keep that in mind for any new hardware releases that come, along the line. And that, begs the real question. If a Pro console is hitting £800 or $900 in 2026, what on earth is the PlayStation 6 going to cost? What is a dedicated PS6 handheld going to cost at launch? Are we looking at £1,000 or $1,000 entry fee for the next generation? I want to hear your guesses in the comments, because if this is the new normal, the PS6 launch is going to be a massive reality check for us all, and a massive check right out of our bank accounts. Are we moving towards a future where only the elite and, really rich and well-off people can afford to play, new games on new hardware? So why is all this happening? Sony says this is due to pressures in the global landscape. So let's call it what it is. First, you have the RAM-ageddon caused by this AI craze. Companies like OpenAI and Google are in a massive race to build AI data centers all over the place. They are buying up every piece of silicon and RAM they can get their hands on. Because these AI companies have billions of dollars in investment, they pay way more for these parts than, Sony ever would. Manufacturers are actually stopping production of normal electronic parts, to make parts purely for AI data centers instead. So we, the gamers, are getting pushed to the back of the line. When parts for a PS5 or a Portal get hard to find, the manufacturing price goes up, and Sony just passes that cost directly on to, you guessed it, directly onto us. But honestly, I feel like there's a massive element of greed going on with all big businesses right now. They are using like AI, the economy, and whatever, else as an excuse to try and just rip off customers and maximize their profits for shareholders. It is just not cool. Like, imagine if these companies actually had a target for profit. Now hear me out, I know they do have profit targets, but one which was set where they made enough just to cover costs, pay their staff fairly a good wage, and keep a set amount for profit for the company, and then that's it, no more. Instead, we see this insatiable greed from all businesses these days at the cost of absolutely everything else. It's all about maximizing profits, no matter the cost to the consumer or the planet or, the environment, whatever else. It is capitalism gone wild, and it's just destroying the very hobbies we love, along with probably everything else on the planet, let's get real. They aren't just trying to, stay afloat, they're trying to break records every single quarter, and they are doing it by reaching deeper into our pockets. Usually reaching deeper into our pockets, but giving us less in return, as you see with all these streaming services, which just keep ramping up their prices, which does my head in. I can't stand it. On top of that, you have the sheer stupidity of global politics these days. We've seen a year of tariffs being slapped onto electronics for no good reason. We've seen reports that energy and gas facilities are being hit, which impacts the supply of things like helium. Yes, this is important, which you actually need to make the chips which go inside your console. It's a house of cards built on just stupidity and greed. And us normal people, the gamers, we are the ones that need to pay the bill to keep everything standing. But here in the gaming world is where it gets interesting. When you look at these new PlayStation prices compared to Xbox, which Xbox was the high-priced, ridiculously priced, console just a short while ago, Xbox suddenly looks like a little bit of a bargain. In the UK, a base PS5 is now £570. The Xbox Series X is $500. In the US, it's $650 for a PS5. This is just the standard PS5 versus $600 for a Series X. So a nice $50 saving. Even the Series S, the budget entry point, is sitting at £300 or $380, making it hundreds of pounds cheaper than a PS5. Now, I know it's not got the same power as a PS5 and it doesn't have a disc drive, which totally sucks. However, money's tight, people, so people might be, wanting to pick that up a lot more than they would have previously due to these increased costs coming our way if you want to buy a PlayStation. In a perfect world, we should be seeing slim models that are actually a lot cheaper. We should be seeing, for example, a Series S at $199 and a Series X at $350 by now. Instead, the prices are going up across the industry. But here's a massive takeaway which I think a lot of people are overlooking just now. It is also worth mentioning that this price hike makes Xbox the cheapest place to play Grand Theft Auto 6, whether that's on the Series X or the Series S. That's actually a massive deal. Think about a casual player who just wants, the next GTA console to play the biggest game of the decade. They walk into a shop, see a £570 PS5 or a £300 Xbox, and the choice might be made for them right there and then. It is something that Xbox should definitely capitalise on to help them get back on the front foot a little bit, since they have just been a mess the past few years. Competition is good for us all, people, before you console warriors jump down my throat saying, oh, the console war's over, Sony won. That's not good for us. We need competition to keep Sony on its toes, so we need strong competition, people. It's better for us. Trust me. It's like Batman needs his Joker. However, Microsoft is not safe from this either. They already have raised their prices, once recently. And with these AI shortages, they might do it again very soon. This whole market is just a mess right now. If Xbox moves to a $700, console next month, we're right back where we started, and Sony becomes, the value cheap champion option again. It's a race to find the bottom of our wallets, even though these prices just keep going up. So what do gamers make of this? Well, I had a quick look online and the community is furious, and rightfully so. Looking at the comments on Push Square today, people are saying stuff like, it's like they're giving up on kids and parents completely. No way an average family can afford this. One user pointed out that if this is what the PS5 Pro costs, the PS6 is hitting £1,000, and that is no longer a joke. It is a real possibility. Other people are saying they are just going to stick to their backlog because they can't justify these prices anymore. The hobby is getting more expensive every year for regular people. We're reaching a point where you have to choose between a new console, or your rent or groceries. That's just wild. That's not how a hobby should work. We are losing the casual gamer here, and once they leave, they might not come back. Also, to be fair, a lot of gamers probably have insane backlogs. I know I could probably stop buying any new hardware or any new games right now and probably have enough games to play from now until the day I die. I have so many games in my backlog across multiple platforms: PC, Switch, Switch 2, Xbox One, Xbox 360, Xbox Series, PS1 to 5, PSP, Vita. I think a lot of people might just do that, say, you know what, I'm just going retro. Cheaper, cheerful, no drama, no DLC, no microtransactions. Sign me up. What do you think about that? So, how do you beat these price increases if you are still wanting to get your hands on a PS5, PS5 Pro, or a Portal? The most obvious answer is to buy one right now. You have until the 2nd of April. To help you guys, I put links to the best current deals I could find on the PS5, the Pro, and the Portal in the description. So go grab one right now before that window closes. But if you can't drop that kind of cash today, one thing I will say is do not sign up for the rental program that Sony has launched, where you basically rent a PlayStation 5 Pro, VR, Portal, whatever it is. You can rent any of them. There's no upfront cost. It ranges from like £10 to 30 or 40 a month. Don't do this. You do not own anything at the end of it. You give it back and basically you've paid off your PlayStation and have nothing to show for it. It's just a bad move. Don't get yourself into debt like that for something like a console, people. It's silly. The other thing I would recommend is a bit of a golden rule for buying hardware now. From now on, do not buy hardware unless there is a big holiday sale. Stop paying full price in the middle of, summer for your PlayStation 5. The days of, random price drops are probably over with these crazy price increases. Wait for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, big end of year holiday sales and bundles. Save your money for those specific times, because that is probably going to be the only time we are going to see these prices drop back down to, what they should be, or what we used to call normal. So I want to pass this off to you. Are we reaching a breaking point for gaming? Everyone's in the same boat. Even you look at PC gaming, people say, oh, just get a PC. PC gaming is insanely expensive right now. I read an article today saying that CPU prices might be next to get hit. RAM's already way up, storage is way up, CPU might be next. Fingers crossed that's not the case. It is just getting ridiculous. Based off these new prices, what do you think the PS6 is going to cost at launch? If you've not got a PS5 now, does the new prices of the Xbox entice you? Maybe if you're thinking about GTA 6, or are you just going to wait for a sale from now on? Let me know in the comments. And since we are talking about saving money and beating these ridiculous price hikes, you need to check out this video on screen now so you can get PlayStation Plus Premium cheaper, as I break down exactly how I renew my sub every year and save a bunch of money. Click that right now. Keep more cash in your wallet, and I'll see you over there.